Okay, everybody, here we go. It's me, Gregory Mannarino, post-market report on Thursday, September 21st, 2023. Stocks got hit pretty good today with the NASDAQ leading the way. We might actually be seeing the beginning of a pretty big unwinding with regard to the tech sector. Why? Why specifically tech? Most of you already know what I'm going to say, but I'll tell you again anyway. The tech sector is very sensitive to bond yields, and bond yields are skyrocketing. The 10-year yield is really in a bad spot here. The entire yield curve remains the most inverted that we have ever seen, painting a very bad picture for what's about to come or what is eventually going to happen here. They can't stop this. They want to convince us that they can, but they can't. Today, we found out that every single, yet again, now we've been talking about this for I don't know how long, every single leading economic indicator is pointing lower. This is 17 consecutive months, 17 consecutive months of leading indicators saying we're going to be worse off than we are now moving forward. But again, what would you expect when you have things floated out? Janet Yellen, I don't see anything. No downturn. Economy is great. And then, yesterday with Powell telling us how great the economy is, how strong we are. Meanwhile, the economy is so strong. It's so incredibly strong today that they couldn't raise the federal funds rate 1/4%. And you know what I said? Title of my video. No, this was clearly a no confidence vote in the economy. We all knew how this market was going to react. I said, if the Fed did not raise rates, it would send a bad signal to the market that things are a lot worse off than they are. Okay. Again, I just can't tell you how much I despise the fact that there is zero accountability here. None of the people running for president right now are talking about this. The fakery, the distortions, the distractions, the deceptions here. Nobody. All right, except you and I. We're here. We got it covered. But you and I, we have a very small voice. Unfortunately, we need someone to speak up. Someone with a lot of clout here to let us know what's actually happening. Well, it'll never happen. Forget about it. It's all going to be some kind of a thing here. But as people are led down the road to destruction by whomever they put behind the Resolute desk. So just be ready for that. So on the back of this market taking a pretty big hit, again, with tech leading the way, let's see where this goes. All right, tech has been a big buoy for this market for a while. And there's been a lot of FOMO here. If in fact we continue to see bonds sell off, you know how this works. When the bond market sells off, yields spike. A lot of people don't get that. Okay, they think if bond yields are going up that people are buying it. No, it doesn't work like that. It's not like a stock. Bond yields rise on the back of debt selling off. You understand? Now, I said earlier today that without immediate direct intervention by the Federal Reserve, and I mean immediate, this has the potential to get extremely bad. The question, I suppose, is, do we believe that the Fed's going to jump in here? Again, they have several options. The Fed could start buying more debt. The Fed could find a way to weaken the dollar. Hold that thought. We're going to talk about the dollar in a moment here. Or they can buy the market. The Fed does buy large cap stocks to prop up the market. It's called the Plunge Protection Team. We'll look this up for yourself. It's a real thing. It's a real entity. Anyway, let us move forward here. Speaking about the dollar on a relative strength basis, it looks like I have to repeat myself. Comparative strength basis did get a knee-jerk higher today, but barely anything. 0.16 higher on the Dixie for the dollar. This is nothing. In an environment like today, to see such a small movement higher with regard to the dollar relative strength or comparative strength, that should say a lot to you. It says a lot to me. Generally, when you have a market that sells off like this with risk that seems to be getting worse by the minute, I don't even know what the MMRI is. Can someone check that for me? 290, 293, something like that. It's up there. Emanon, exactly, GeoRider. Yeah. Anyway, MMRI reflective of risk continues to 294, Danny K. Wow. Okay, that's bad. That's bad. Very, very bad. Anyway, we're just several points away from extreme risk. The market doesn't like it. It should be very evident. And really yesterday, you have to honestly wonder this. The Federal Reserve knew or knows clearly everything they say, everything they do, thank you, Billy Bob, is not by accident. It's all scripted. All right. The Federal Reserve knew, just like you and I did. We said, if the Fed did not raise rates yesterday, the market would take a hit because of this no confidence vote. The Fed knows that. They knew that. They tried to float out Fed President Bullard this morning. If you caught him on Bloomberg, they floated it out, another creature from wherever, from the Federal Reserve, okay, with his big smug smiley face talking about, oh yes, soft landing for the economy. Absolutely. That is where we're going. Look, these things just lie. They don't stop. And why? Because they can get away with it. There's no accountability. That's why creatures like Yellenstein and Powell thing, they can say whatever they want. It doesn't matter. They make the rules. You have to understand. The Federal Reserve gets to decipher this whole thing any way they want to. Okay, they get to choose because there's not going to be any pushback from one of our loving, caring politicians, from someone running for president. Nothing, zero, absolute silence as they allow this thing to manifest itself and crush the people. That's all this is. If you're waiting for a saving grace here, you are way off base. Okay, I'm telling you right now. Anyway, with that said, this dollar, this slightly higher move in the dollar in the face of risk in this market, which is getting out of control, says a lot to me. Okay, generally you would expect to see the dollar on a relative strength basis, get a big move higher. It didn't. It moves higher just a little bit. That should tell you something. Well, we just heard from Jeffrey Gundlach, the guy. Again, look, I know a lot of you hate this guy's guts. I don't know why you do. He's been right the vast majority of the time. I mean, no one's going to get it right every time, period. People, it's impossible to do. Nobody, you, me, nobody. But I follow this guy, okay, Jeffrey Gundlach, his record, what he says. Yes, I've even called him out from time to time. But if you look at this guy's record, it's very good. We're not infallible. But this guy here is saying that if things progress the way they are, this stock market is going to crater. It's not Greg Mannarino. It's multi-billionaire like this guy. We got another warning today from Ray Dalio, which I want to talk about in just a moment. Also, Gundlach is talking about this dollar. It's a dying asset. Does that sound familiar to you? I know it sounds familiar to Axiom, Curb Community, GeoRider, Magic Mika, Lava Girl, Alan Greenspan. Goldstein's not around, but I heard she can't make it here anymore for whatever reason, her schedule. I mean, we got it, people. We got this down. We know where this is going. You and I have been so far ahead of the curve on this. Yeah, the BRICS nations, they're cornering their energy market in a very short period of time. They're going to control the BRICS nations, just in case you're wondering, okay? Because maybe you are. By next year, the BRICS nations are going to control more than 40% of the world's energy. I want you to think about that. That is epic. They are on a mission to take down the dollar. This is going to lead to conflict, war, death, suffering, pain, whatever you want to think about. That's where we're going here. The enforcement arm of the Federal Reserve is the United States military in its entirety, including its nuclear arsenal. Okay? That's a fact. They don't work for you, the military. They work for the Fed. All right? And that's where they get their orders from, in case you're wondering as well, too. Cryptos fell under pressure today. Gold and silver fell under pressure today. Crude oil is doing what we want it to do. It's almost like we're setting a script here, okay? From 67 to over 92, 93 recently, we're getting a pullback. Clearly, we are getting a pullback now, in my view. There's going to be a buying opportunity here for crude if you want to get on it. $87 probably somewhere wouldn't be a bad idea to start opening up a position and adding to it. If you're a crude oil trader, if you're looking to get in on this, because I think crude's going much, much higher. Again, it has nothing to do. Understand, look, most people are fixated with regard to supply and demand. It has nothing to do with supply and demand. This is a commodity. It's a real thing. Eventually, commodities are going to go to the moon and beyond, far beyond the sun. Okay, Yingbei Malmsteen quote. So just this is where you need to be in commodities. Again, this thing is turning around. Pressure now on the tech sector is going to hit the market. Andrew, thank you. The U.S. dollar is the real brick. Sorry, bro. I have to disagree with you on that. The U.S. dollar is a dying asset. It's been dying. It's under pressure as the Federal Reserve kills it. Central banks are attacking their own currencies, and we are paying the price for it. And it's going to get much, much worse here. The Fed can't stop inflation, nor do they have any inclination to stop inflation. Henceforth, why, again, no confidence vote in the economy. This whole thing, I understand, believe me, that there is a lag effect to what the Federal Reserve is doing. In other words, when the Federal Reserve raises rates, it takes a while for this to work its way through the economy. It's not working. It's not even meant to work. It was never meant to work. All it's doing is cutting off the availability of credit to small businesses, to the consumer. Thank you, Smart Silver Stacker. Thank you, Clever Custom Performance. I appreciate that too. But that's where we're going. You understand? It's not going to stop. Energy prices, food inflation is going to outpace everything. Okay. Eventually, debt market meltdown, we may be in the early stages of it right now, is going to destroy and wipe. Oh, a sinking brick. Andrew, I'm with you on that one. Andrew Maria, you're 100% right. It is a sinking brick, big time. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because look, and it's not that it goes beyond that. Okay. This is deliberate. And understanding that they are working very diligently to bring in a new system. I know there's legislation right now to prevent the Federal Reserve from issuing a central bank digital currency. It's not going to do nothing. The Federal Reserve members are laughing. They're in their back room, laughing their rear ends off, because what's going to end up happening here is when the central banks are done bringing this system to its knees, and you and I with it, okay, are loving, caring politicians, in fact, the same ones that are putting forth this legislation to the Fed to prevent it from issuing a central bank digital currency, they're going to be begging for it on their knees. You understand? Because that's how it's being set up. That's how it's going to play out. This current system cannot be fixed. It's not meant to be fixed. It's on its pathway to destruction. This is deliberate, and they're going to issue in a new system, period. That's all. I think we're all pretty much on the same page with regard to that. I think I covered pretty much stocks, where we're going. Watch what can potentially happen here to tech stocks. Very interest rate sensitive here as bond yields are skyrocketing. Keep your eyes on these things. I promise to keep you on top of it. Today was pretty much a pan sell-off, as you would see, but the fear wasn't as extreme as you would expect it to be. Despite the fact that the Dow fell like over 350 points or whatever the hell it fell. And again, the NASDAQ on a percentage basis took the biggest hit. I don't think it's over. If the Fed does not intervene here and we don't see, let's put it this way, if we do see MMRI, Mannarino Market Risk Indicator, free to everybody, link below, break 300, okay, and go above that, I'm gonna tell you this market is not going to like it at all. It's going to be a freak show on a massive scale. The Fed, they're probably right now is thinking about what action they're going to take, if at all. Again, are they about to let this thing go down? It's very possible. We don't know that. I would call what we're seeing pretty much an uncontrolled sell-off here in the debt market, which is what you and I have been looking for a very, very long time. Okay. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate that very much. Anyway, so understanding that kind of situation, this can get out of control very, very rapidly. We could see MMRI 300, 305, 310, bang, 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 very, very quickly. Okay. If that happens, it's going to melt down. The stock market's cash will eventually move into commodities and I believe cryptocurrencies. But at first, that's not going to happen. At first, you're going to see everything sell off. The market always throws out the baby with the bathwater. Okay. Look back on history. You all know this. That's how it's going to play out. There's going to be an incredible opportunity, in my opinion, to buy suppressed assets because, again, everything is going to drop like we saw today, but to a much larger degree. But we need to keep our eye on risk, okay? Michael Burry, what a call this guy made. His timing was impeccable, all right? He's watching risk in this market. Jeffrey Gundlach is watching risk in this market. People like Ray Dalio. Thank you, Heath. I appreciate that. Wow. Ray Dalio came out today and has this to say. He's warning that more money printing is in store for the United States because we cannot pay off our debt, our obligations at all. We can't pay them off. They're not meant to be paid off. So what does this mean? The Fed's going to run this printer. It dilutes the currency even more. Purchasing power disappears. Who pays for it? You do. You understand? It's a cause and effect. It's very, very simple. But again, where's our loving, caring politicians? Where is a single person running for president right now talking about this? How about it's nowhere? That alone should tell you something, okay? It really, really should, because anyone that is running for president right now should be outlining the dire situation that we have, okay? Not just because it's Bidenomics or whatever. Lay it out so the people can understand it, okay? And the people will get behind whatever candidate, in my opinion, decides to really tell the truth to the American people. If they don't become assassinated like President Garfield did, that's the person that's going to maybe has a chance of the public. I don't think we get to choose anyone, but that's the person who should get into the office. They won't, though, of course, but that's just the way it works. Anyway, I already told you about leading economic indicators. It's just completely over here. They're down now for 17 consecutive months. Existing home sales fall to this lowest level in 19 months. Warnings from Ray Dalio. Warnings from billionaire Ray Dalio on more printing. Warnings from Gundlach about the dollar and about the stock market. The Federal Reserve Business Barometer is in contraction. Imagine my shock here. U.S. home affordability hit another record low. I mean, we could go on and on, but Janet Yellen says we're doing great with no accountability. She can do whatever she wants to. It is a thing of the highest order. It's just disgusting. I want you to think of something else here. Treasury yields today. This is something I just happened to write earlier. Treasury yields today are the highest that we've seen. Pay attention to this part. Highest that we've seen in 10 years. 10 years ago, the debt was 16.7 trillion. Today, well, we're twice that. So just think about what this means for servicing the debt and everything else. This is not sustainable. You understand? And it's not meant to be sustainable. This thing is coming down by design. It's over. Okay. Again, no legislation can stop what's coming with regard to a central bank digital currency. This has been prepared. It is ready to go, and it is going to come. It's just a matter of when and how they're going to do it. They got to bring the system down. They're going to make the people so desperate, so absolutely desperate for a solution. Again, problem, you know where we're going. Reaction, we have a solution for you. Again, I'm going to laugh when the same people now who are putting forth this legislation to stop central bank digital currencies will be begging for it. I can promise you. Members of the Fed, they are in their back room laughing, eating donuts, drinking coffee, and whatever the hell they're doing over there. They're laughing at all of us, okay? And unfortunately, as much as we want to laugh back, they really got us where they want us here. This has been a plan that's been in effect for over a century. It would take many lifetimes to change things the way they are. No one man, no one woman, no group of people can change it. Okay. Federal Reserve is a sovereign entity. They answer to no one. And central banks have solidified their power. Under the last several U.S. presidents, the Federal Reserve has become the number one most powerful organization on the planet, bar none. Nothing even comes close. Thank you, Peter. I really appreciate that. Honestly, these last few presidents have done everything they can in their power to make the Fed as strong as they can't be. There's nothing that can stop them at this point. And they've now, central banks on the back of that, have collectively joined forces, and they always have been, but never more so than under the last several presidents, to literally wipe out an entire class of people to fulfill their end game, become the lenders and buyers of last resort. It is just over. Okay. Now, from you and I, from a financial standpoint, we got this covered. We know where to be. Commodities, the most suppressed assets on the planet, silver and gold. Silver number one. Risk on, going to turn risk off, but it goes way beyond that, people. Way beyond that. Every way you can have the high ground is where you need to be. Okay, mentally, spiritually, physically, we got each other's backs. How many times I tell you this? Love each other, care about each other, be charitable. This stuff here, this is the only way we can make a difference. Again, there's a natural selection going on right now. There is a natural selection going on right now, and you and me are part of it. Understand? The vast majority of this population has no clue at all, zero, as to what is going on. They may think they do. Thank you, Ivan. I appreciate that. But they have no idea how the system works, why it's working, and how things are going against them in a way that they have no idea, honestly. Anyway, people, I think that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about with you today. Look at my handwriting. Look at this. This is terrible. Oh, anyway, that is the story. Now, what I'm going to do here for the next few minutes, first of all, I'm going to ask you for a thumbs up. I got almost 2,000 people here and only 650 thumbs up. These thumbs up people are like gold. Okay. When you give these videos a thumbs up, it allows the video to be seen. The algorithms pick them up. Other than that, I mean, look, this is our thing together. And if you want this video to be seen, please give this a thumbs up. Yes, I still like JEPI. I'm looking for an opportunity to buy more of it. I'll be honest with you. Truly, again, does it have the potential to fall a lot from here? Absolutely. But it's still going to pay that dividend. And the more volatile the market gets, the higher the dividend goes. Anyway, so yes, I do happen to like that. Let me see. What else you guys want to talk about? I don't like holding debt. Jeff, I don't like it. I mean, could you bet against this whole thing? Yeah, it looks like that's what hedge funds are doing. Hedge funds are taking up bets, exactly what you and I have been saying. We're going to get a meltdown in the debt market. Hedge funds are betting big on a debt market meltdown. Forget about the big short. This is going to be the big short on multiple steroids here. Thank you, Lucky. I appreciate that. Yes, if you want to bet against the debt market directly, you can do that. There are many exchange traded funds that will allow you to do that. So that's definitely something that you might want to eventually look at too as well. Big Short 2.0, man, on steroids, bro. Diana, thank you. Honestly, on LSD. Yeah, exactly. Wow. Thank you. I know you're amazing. Malose Bartos. I'm so bad with names. Who's shorting the market right now? Well, I'm sure a lot of people are doing that, but be careful here. Again, we know what the Fed is capable of doing. We've seen it before. They can step in here and start suppressing rates, buying more. Again, we got some pretty big hitters out here dumping debt. China, Saudi Arabia, other nations around the world dumping U.S. debt here. And the Fed has got to make that up. They got to buy it. There's always, whenever there's a seller, there's a buyer. When there's a buyer, there's a seller. That's the way it is. Okay. The Fed is again, they're in a lot of trouble here, but it's not them that are in trouble. We're in the trouble because what they're going to do, they're going to get in here. They're going to buy more. This is going to obviously be massively inflationary. You're not allowed to know that. No one's going to tell you that. No politician is going to tell you that. No one running for president is going to tell you that. Okay, they're going to promise you the world. Okay, and you're going to get nothing. You're going to get more of the same. It's really the truth. Yes, long-term bondholders are in all kinds of trouble here. It's a pretty disgusting. I have no idea which banks are folding, but what we do, that's a good Reinhard, great question here, bro. But we're not allowed to know that. The FDIC, I mean, people should be up in arms right now. The FDIC knows which banks are in trouble. at least 22% of U.S. banks right now have a lifeline to the Fed. Thank you, Carlos. They're already getting backstopped with another 55% at least looking to also get backstopped. Foreign banks as well looking for a backstop from the Federal Reserve. The FDIC said they have a list of thousands of banks that are not looking too pretty, and many of these banks are going to fail. This is privileged information. We're not allowed to know it. Even though your cash may be in one of these institutions, we, the people, are not allowed to know it. I find that unbelievably disturbing, really, honestly. And let me ask you this. Who's going to be held to account for that? Nobody. You think one of our politicians, either in office or may be in office, is going to hold them to account? How about no? Look, what I've been telling you. It's every man, it's every woman for his or herself, but we got each other's backs. That's it. We do not have any representation anymore. I don't know why we're paying taxes. For what? Absolutely, for what? Please tell me, honestly. Perry knows, right, Perry? Perry knows. Anyway, people, yeah, exactly. Torches, pitchforks. But you see, here's the situation with regard to that. You and I, you have to understand, we are a fraction of the public. Most people, what's happening by design is the Federal Reserve, central banks around the world, and you know this because we've been talking about it for I don't know how freaking long, are making people dependent on the system, slaves to the system. This is deliberate, okay? They're creating this two-tier society, as you and I have talked about for 10 freaking years, extreme haves, extreme have-nots. The disconnect between the stock market and the economy is just off the Richter scale. Even right now, it's unbelievable. But again, this dependency on the system is their key, okay? People are getting taken care of here from cradle to grave. You think they're going to try to go against the system? You think they're going to join the resistance here, Wally? This is the resistance. Absolutely. We are. This is where it starts. Knowledge is power. It is incredible power. Henceforth, why President Garfield got assassinated, for explaining to us that whoever controls the cash controls the world. You know, sound familiar to you? How many times have we been warned over and over and over again? It's unbelievable, people. Unbelievable what we're seeing here. Unfreaking believable. But again, we're ready for it. We're ready for what. Always have that high ground. Be prepared for a worst case scenario. And if it doesn't unfold that way, you're not any worse off for it. Anyway, yeah, exactly. The FDIC is here to protect us. Yeah, that's what people believe. Really, honestly, I know you get it. I know you're being, you're kind of joking around here, but this is part of the crime syndicate. If they're not allowing us to know which banks are failing or are going to fail, which banks are on their list to be taken over because it's privileged information, it's confidential information. If we can't know that and we have our cash in these institutions, tell me really, do you feel like you're free? You have freedom? Do you feel free? Can you do whatever you want to? Can you? Huh? Really? You think so? You think this is the land of the free, home of the brave? Wherever you live in the world, you think you're free? No. You are being pressured by the most powerful entities on this planet, okay? And that is central banks. Only one thing could prevent this thing, and that is divine intervention. And that's about it. People, this guy, he loves you a lot. This is almost a half an hour video. Thank you for being here. We just crossed 1,000 thumbs up, and that is amazing. Right, Lava? Anyway, I will see all of you tomorrow morning. You know what to watch, okay? Let's see where risk in this market goes. The MMRI could cross 300 now, tomorrow. Let's see what happens with this market. Is the cavalry going to jump in here? Is the Fed going to start buying more debt? Are they going to weaken the dollar? Are they going to start buying the market here? Again, where does all this cash come from? Oh, that's another thing. We're sending another $24 billion to Zelensky over there on top of the $90 billion that we've already sent over there. Where does that cash come from? Do we have a war chest somewhere? You're paying for it. Whether you're for or against this war, that's obviously getting larger and larger. More money's being thrown at it. You think that's the end? You think it's going to end here? I don't think so, people. In fact, I know it's not going to end there. You and I spoke about this. It's going to go on and grow and get larger. Again, war generates more cash revenue for the entire military industrial complex than any other endeavor on the planet, bar none. They spill our blood and guts from one end of the earth to the other, and they get richer off of it. Who came up with that system? Maybe you want to let me know. All right. I'll see all of you in the morning. I'm going to let you go. Thanks for being with me. Thanks for your support. I can't thank you enough. Thank you for those thumbs up. Thank you for your friendship, your love, your kindness, your words with regard to the loss of my dog, Dolly. Terrible thing. And I will see you in the morning. Okay. That's it. I got to go.